These are some of the most popular Ghana street snacks, from classic party favorites to street food you see everywhere. They're packed with so much flavor and nostalgia, and if you grew up around them, you already know. So join me and let's look at some of the most iconic ones. I know you're going to love them. Have you ever had a snack that's crispy on the outside but soft and crumbly inside? Hi there, Aquaba, and welcome. Today we're making Ghanaian rock buns. These buns are super easy to make, so delicious and perfect with coffee or just as a quick bite. So join me and let me show you how to get that perfect texture. Let's get started. So first, in a large bowl, add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/3 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt and nutmeg. Now mix everything well to combine, and the amount of sugar I used is just right, not too much, not too little, but if you love your snacks on the sweeter side, go ahead and add a little more. It's all about just making it how you like it. Next, we are adding half a cup of cold unsalted butter. So with my hands thoroughly clean, I will go in and mix the butter into the flour. And friends, if you want that perfect crumbly texture, it is key you use cold butter because that's what helps give the rock buns that perfect crumbly texture we're looking for. So keep mixing until the butter is well incorporated, and if you add too much, your dough might get too soft and heavy, and we do not want that. It could change the texture of the buns. And this is what we're looking for, crumbly but not too dry, kind of like crushed biscuits. Next, to avoid overmixing, we will beat the milk, eggs, and vanilla extract together in a separate bowl here before adding to the flour mixture. So I used 1/3 cup of evaporated milk. You can also use any milk you have, 1 egg, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Whisk everything together here, and then we will pour it into the flour mixture here shortly. And with my hands thoroughly clean, I will mix everything until it forms a thick, slightly sticky dough. And friend, if you're enjoying this so far, please give this video a thumbs up. I truly do appreciate you being here. Okay, so we'll keep mixing until everything is well combined. You want to make sure that there are no dry spots and the dough holds together nicely. It should be thick, slightly sticky, but not too wet. And if it feels too dry, you can add a tiny splash of milk, but don't overdo it. Next, I'll grease up my muffin pan to prevent sticking, and if you don't have one, you can use a baking sheet. Those work perfectly too, but just keep in mind that using the baking sheet will give them a more free-form shape rather than the classic muffin look. Either way, they will still turn out so delicious. Okay, now using my clean hands, I'm going to scoop and drop the dough into the muffin pan, just like this. No need to shape or smooth them out. The rough texture is what gives the rock buns their classic rocky look. So these were definitely one of my favorites growing up in Ghana. They're so soft on the inside, crunchy on the outside, and back then they were perfect with fun eyes right after church. But now as an adult, oh, they pair so good with coffee. Okay, so while doing this, I already have my oven preheating at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I will bake them for about 15 to 20 minutes or until they turn golden brown and feel firm to the touch. And friends, just like that, our Ghanaian rock buns are ready. Just look at that. Golden, crispy on the outside, and perfectly rocky. These smell so amazing. You already know I had to take a bite. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and until next time, stay safe and blessed always. Hi there, Aquaba, and welcome. It's Abinatina here, and on the menu today, I will show you how I make one of my favorite Ghanaian or Nigerian snack. It's the bofrot or puff puff. So come along and let's get started. And as always, I hope you find this video helpful. Okay, so let's get started. In a large mixing bowl, I will combine 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 a cup of sugar, 1/4 a teaspoon of nutmeg and salt, 2 teaspoons of milk powder and yeast. Now we will mix our dry ingredients to combine. And a very big thank you to all my returning and new subscribers. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you for the continued support. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Next, with my hands thoroughly washed to the dry mixture, I will gradually add in some lukewarm water. I don't have the exact measurement, but you have to gauge it and mix until you get a thick, stretchy, but pourable mixture. And here I went in with 2 drops of vanilla extract for some added flavor and aroma. So we'll continuously mix well and beat our batter against the walls of the bowl to activate the gluten. This right here is the consistency I am looking for, and with this consistency we should achieve a very soft and delicious bofrot. And guys, if you don't want to make a mess, you can use a whisk, a hand mixture, or a stand mixture, whichever form you prefer, okay? So you will mix for about a minute until you have a thick and sticky batter just like this. Now I'll cover the bowl with a clean kitchen towel or plastic wrap, and we will allow the dough rest and rise for about 1 to 2 hours. During the resting period, the dough should double in size just like this. So with my clean hands or spatula, I will punch down the dough to deflate it, then give it a quick knead. And also make sure you're using a bowl that's deep enough for the dough to rise without spilling over when it doubles in size. Now we will proceed to the frying process of our bofrot or puff puff. Okay guys, so in a deep pot or frying pan, heat your oil over medium heat. The oil should be hot enough but not too hot. Not too hot because you don't want the bofrot to cook outside before the inside of the bofrot is ready. And when the oil is not hot enough, the bofrot will soak up oil, and we definitely don't want that. So I'm using my clean hands, but you can use an ice cream scoop to scoop dough balls into the hot oil. And if you're looking for the perfect round shaped bofrot, you have to use your hands, of course. You have to kind of mold it in your hands, then drop it into the oil. Mine is still work in progress, but I have definitely improved a little bit compared to other bofrot I have attempted to make in achieving a round bofrot. Okay, so we'll fry the bofrot until they are golden brown, turning them occasionally to ensure even cooking. This should take about 3 to 5 minutes per batch. And just look at this deliciousness. The bofrot is golden brown and ready. So I'm going to remove them from the oil and then place them on a plate lined with paper towel to drain off the excess oil. So you can enjoy this deliciousness with any porridge or chilled beverage of your choice, or well on its own. I typically enjoy mine with some awusa cocoa because they pair so well together. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen today to learn how to make these delicious bofrot or puff puff. I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy recipe. If you found this video helpful or delicious, however, please give me a thumbs up, share with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I'd truly appreciate it. Until next time, stay safe and blessed always. You are missing out if you've never had Pikanso before. Crispy on the outside and soft and airy on the inside. It's the perfect snack, and today I'm showing you exactly how to make it the right way. Hi there, Akwaba, and welcome. This Hausa style Pikanso is super easy to make, but there's a trick to getting that crispy light texture, so stick around and let's get into it. Alright, so here's everything I'm working with: green chili peppers, garlic, onions, and scallions. Now I'm going to transfer everything into the blender and blend it up, but I'm keeping the scallions aside for later. Now set that aside, and in a large bowl add 1 cup of warm water, 1 tablespoon of yeast, and 1/8 cup of sugar. Give it a good mix here to combine, and then cover it and let it proof until it gets nice and foamy. After about 15 minutes, it's nice and foamy, just what we want. Now go ahead and add in 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Next, add 1.5 teaspoons of salt and give it a good mix to combine. And I almost forgot our blended mixture. That goes in now, so let's go ahead and add that too. Now mix everything into the flour. We are aiming for a smooth, lump-free texture. Keep mixing, adding water in small bits as needed. You know it's ready when the dough becomes stretchy and elastic. Oh, and please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet. I really do appreciate you being here. So this is exactly what we're looking for, stretchy and elastic, not too runny and not too thick, just the perfect consistency. Now we'll cover it and place it in a warm spot to rise for about 45 minutes or longer if your space is on the cooler side. Now let's check on the dough. When it has risen, you would see pockets of bubbles on the surface, just like this. That's a good sign it's ready to fry. This is the point where we add the scallions, then mix them into the dough until well combined. And now that the scallions are fully mixed in, our dough is ready for the next step, frying. This is where the magic happens. We're about to turn this soft, stretchy dough into a crispy golden perfection. So let's get our oil heated up and start frying. Okay, so to scoop and drop the dough into the oil as I am, you're going to take a portion of the dough, but first dip your hands in water. This helps to prevent sticking. So you grab a small ball of dough, then using your thumb and middle finger, you're going to create a hole in the center. Then gently drop it into the hot oil and let it fry on medium heat until golden brown and perfectly crunchy. So Pikanso is a perfectly crispy spiced fried dough that originated with the Hausa people of Ghana, but it's enjoyed by many across the country. It's light, flavorful, and absolutely irresistible. And once you try it, you would see why it's a favorite. It's definitely a bit messy and it takes some practice. I'm still struggling here, but don't worry, you'll get the hang of it. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, and trust me, the crispy golden goodness at the end is totally worth it. Now just look at this, golden, crispy, and absolutely perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for, light, airy, and full of flavor. I wish you could just smell this right now. The aroma is given absolutely delicious. And friends, that's it. Crispy, golden, and absolutely delicious Pikanso. It's perfect with awusa cocoa or just as a savory snack. I hope you give this a try. And if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comment, how do you like to enjoy your Pikanso? I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, stay safe and blessed always. If you've ever been to a Ghanaian party, you already know these chips disappear the moment they are served. They're crispy, garlicky, and dangerously addictive. Let me show you how to make them at home. Join me and let's get started. Now let's put the flavor together. I'm using garlic and onion. You can grate it or blend it, whatever works for you. Either way, this is what gives the chips that delicious aroma. It's the secret ingredient here. So I'm going to blend it, then set it aside and begin with the next process here. Now in a large bowl, let's add our all-purpose flour. I'm using 4 cups here. Next, we season with 1 teaspoon of salt, add some baking powder and just a hint of nutmeg. Then go ahead and mix everything together until the dry ingredients are well combined here. Now we'll add in half a cup of unsalted butter, and with our clean hands, we'll work it into the mixture here. And you know it's ready when there are no big pieces left and the mixture looks crumbly, just like this, like breadcrumbs, you know. Now it's time to bring in that flavor. Let's go ahead and add in the onion and garlic now. So once we do that, you'll use your hands to fold it in. So we're making sure we mix it in evenly with the buttered flour. We'll also go in with some water bit by bit and try to bring it together. Guys, you start smelling that delicious aroma right away. So you want a dough that comes together nicely, not sticky. It should be soft and easy to handle. And we'll now transfer the dough onto our clean working surface and give it a quick knead here. This also helps bring the ingredients together and help form a little gluten. This gives the dough some structure to hold when we roll it out. So just a quick knead here, and then we'll let it rest for about 20 to 30 minutes. So resting relaxes the dough, making it easier to roll and giving us that light, crispy chips we're looking for. I've also listed all the ingredients I used to make these delicious chips in the video description below, just in case you want to try them at home. Trust me, you're going to love them. Once the dough has rested, it's time to roll it out. And I like to cut the dough in half first. This makes it easier to roll out and handle. So we'll work with one half at a time while keeping the other half covered so it doesn't dry out. Lightly flour your work surface and your rolling pin, and then we'll roll the dough thin. The thinner it is, the crispier the chips will be. So try to stretch the dough out as much as you can, keeping it thin for that perfect crunch. Once it's rolled out, cut it into your classic chip shapes here, just as I'm doing. And I already have my oil heating up, so once the chips are cut, we can go straight into frying here. And this right here is perfect. Sprinkle a little extra flour on the chips so they don't stick together. I cut mine medium size, but you can go smaller or get creative with your shapes, whatever you like here. But this right here is perfect, so it's ready for frying. But before we fry, here's another way I've seen these chips made. You can simply spread out the dough and then tear it into pieces just like this, no cutting needed. But honestly, I prefer the classic rolled and cut method. It gives the chips a nice uniform shape and that crunch. But this right here isn't what you'd normally see at the parties, but the taste is exactly the same. It's just a fun way to mix things up and get creative with your chips, you know. And check out the two styles. On the right, we have the fun torn pieces, and then on the left, we have the classic party chip shape. Different looks, same delicious flavor. So now it's time for frying. So carefully we'll add the chips to our hot oil in batches so they don't stick together, and we'll fry them until they are golden and crispy, and you start smelling that amazing garlic and onion aroma as they cook. And just look at this, just beautifully done here. These are the crunchy snacks you find at birthdays, weddings, and every celebration in Ghana. They are light, full of flavor, and once you taste them, they're no going back. Plus, they're easy to make at home or even turn them into a small business if you want. And friends, that's it. Your very own Ghanaian party chips, crispy, garlicky, and absolutely irresistible. If you try making these at home, let me know in the comments how they turned out. If you love quick, delicious snacks like this, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on your notifications. I've got plenty more recipes coming your way. And until next time, stay safe and blessed. Always. Hi there, Aquaba, and welcome. I have been craving some tuna pie, so today I'm bringing you along as I make them. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you'd be tempted to try them too. They're super simple to make and absolutely delicious. So let's get started. In a large bowl, I'm adding 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and if you're trying to cut back, you can swap it up for some wheat flour. It works just as well. I also added half a teaspoon each of onion powder, garlic powder, and salt for some extra flavor here. Now I'm just giving it a good mix to make sure everything is well combined. Next, I'm adding in 227 grams of unsalted butter, which is the same as 1 cup. This will give the dough that rich, flaky texture we're looking for. And with my hands thoroughly clean, I'm going in to mix the butter into the flour. And then I'll rub it until the mixture looks like small crumbly pieces. You see it here in a little bit. These steps help create that perfect flaky texture. So I'll keep mixing it until it looks something like this, well incorporated, with the butter evenly distributed throughout the flour. And when you give it a quick squeeze just like this, it should hold its shape but break apart easily. Okay, next I'll add in chilled water, a little at a time, just enough to bring the dough together. And I'm being careful here because I don't want to add too much water and make the dough too sticky. As I mix, I will gently press everything together, but I'm making sure not to knead it. Yeah, overkneading it can develop too much gluten, which would make the crust tough instead of light and flaky. So I'll just give it a mix until the dough holds together when pressed, nothing more. I will then transfer the dough onto a plastic wrap and wrap it tightly, and then it goes into the fridge for about an hour and a half to firm up the butter, making the crust flakier and easy to handle. Next, let's make the filling. It's pretty easy. I used a bit of the oil from the tuna and added some chopped onions to it, letting them saute until soft and fragrant. And since I'm using canned tuna, I don't need to cook the filling for long. It will heat through again when we bake the pies. I just want to blend the flavors and season everything well without drying out the tuna. So I seasoned the tuna with a little of onion and garlic powder, black pepper, and shrimp seasoning. The tuna already has a lot of sodium, so I'm skipping any extra salt to keep it balanced. A quick mix and the filling is ready to go. But I'll let the filling cool down completely before we move on to putting the pies together. This is important because adding the warm filling can soften the dough too much, making it harder to handle. And it's been an hour and a half, so now it's time for the fun part. You can get creative with how you want to shape your pies, but I'm sticking to the traditional way for this batch. So using my dough cutter here, I'll cut the dough into manageable pieces so it's easier to work with. Okay, so once we have that out of the way, I will dust the surface with some flour to keep the dough from sticking. And then using my rolling pin here, I will press down and roll forward and back to stretch the dough out evenly. Just back and forth, just like this. No need to apply too much pressure. Once the dough is stretched out nicely and even, grab something to cut out your crust shapes. You can use a pastry cutter, a round cookie cutter, or anything you have that works best for you. Now scoop out a generous amount of the pie filling and place it right in the center, just like this. Make sure not to overfill so the edges can seal properly. Next, I'll rub a little water around the edges of the pie crust. This helps as a sealant to keep everything tightly closed while baking. I will then flip it over and use my fingers to press down along the edges, making sure it's tightly sealed. And just like that, done. 1 down, 10 more to go. I got 11 pies from this recipe, but the final count depends on how big or small you make them and the shape you go for. I will show you one more time, but if you've got it down, feel free to skip ahead. And friends, growing up in Ghana, meat pies were my go-to after church, a quick satisfying snack before lunch. Yes, if you know, you know, and nothing paired better with it than fun ice, especially the vanilla flavor, that creamy cold ice cream with the warm flaky pie. Yes, it was the perfect treat. I mean, it was such a simple pleasure, but it always felt like a treat. After church, you'd see the street vendors at almost every corner, and resisting the temptation was nearly impossible. And the best ones had the perfect balance, flaky on the outside, soft on the inside, and packed with so much flavor. And meat pies are super popular in Ghana, and while tuna isn't the most traditional filling, it's a great alternative. Normally, you would find beef inside. Their seasonings are so flavorful, but honestly, I do just love to switch it up. And next, using a fork, I will poke a few holes into the pies to let the steam escape while baking. This step just helps prevent them from puffing up too much or bursting open in the oven. Now I'll brush on some egg wash. This step is what gives the pie that beautiful golden color and slight sheen once they're baked. It also helps with even browning, making them look as good as they taste. You can skip it though, but your pies might not have that nice glossy finish. So I'll bake these at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 to 25 minutes here, or until they turn a beautiful golden brown. But if your pies are a bit bigger, they might need a little extra time, so just keep an eye out to make sure they don't brown up too much and become hard. And here we are after about 25 minutes, golden brown and absolutely beautiful. So I'll let them cool down a bit before biting into one because they are piping hot inside. And just look at that, perfectly baked with a flaky crust. You already know this is going to be so good. And now let's just pop one open and see what's going on inside, and just look at all of that deliciousness, the flaky crust, the rich and flavorful filling. This is exactly what I was craving for. And thank you so much for watching, friends. Please give this video a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any questions and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Until next time, stay safe and blessed always. Hi there, Aquaba, and welcome. I hope you're doing great. Today we're making super crunchy and irresistible chinchin snack that will have you reaching back for more every time. Guys, it's simple, it's tasty, and you probably have everything you need. So join me and let's get started. Right, in a large bowl, we will mix all our dry ingredients. That's flour, sugar, some baking powder, salt, and nutmeg. And then we'll give it a quick stir. I'll also list all the ingredients used in this video in the video description, so if you want to try this recipe out, be sure to check it out. I added in some butter as well, so with my clean fingers I'll work it in until it looks like soft bread crumbs. This is what gives us that flaky, crunchy texture here. Beautiful. Now I will set that aside, and in a separate bowl I will add in 1 cup of milk and 1 egg and whisk it together. And the egg and milk is optional. You can go in straight with water if that's your preference. The egg and milk gives the chinchin a richer taste and a softer crunch on the inside while still staying crispy on the outside. Alright, now pour in your mixture here, and we'll mix everything until it comes together into a soft non-sticky dough. However, if your dough turns out too sticky, you can just add in a little bit of flour here and keep mixing. And once the dough is soft and not too sticky, this right here is perfect. I'm going to transfer it onto my floured surface and give it a quick knead. We're not doing anything too crazy here. We don't want to over knead it. We're just bringing it together. And guys, there's something so satisfying about making snacks like this from scratch, right in your own kitchen. And it's not just about the ingredients, it's the process, the smell of something frying, and knowing you made it with your own hands. It just hits different, in my opinion. Homemade always feels more personable and more special, and trust me, you taste the difference in every crunchy bite when you try this recipe. Now using my rolling pin, I'm going to roll out the dough, not too thick and not too thin. We want something somewhere in the middle so it cooks evenly and stays nice and crunchy. And if it's too thick, the inside might be soft and not cook all the way through. And when it's too thin, it might get too hard to even chow down on. So just like this, smooth, even, and ready for cutting. And take your time here. It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it's even, you're good to go here. Now cut them into any shape you like, squares, diamonds, it's totally up to you. Now that I've got my dough all cut up, I also have my oil heating up on medium. You want your oil hot but not too hot. If it's too hot, the outside will brown up too fast and the insides will not cook properly. And if it's not too hot enough, your chin-chins will soak up oil, and we do not want that either. So add them to the hot oil and we'll fry them until they're golden brown and crunchy. Make sure to turn them occasionally so they cook evenly on all sides, and try not to overcrowd your pan also. Just give them space to fry here. And chinchin is such a nostalgic snack for many of us, and it's most popular in countries like Nigeria. You also find a version in Ghana called achomo. Different countries add their own twist, but one thing they all have in common, that signature crunch that keeps you coming back for more. And guys, just like that, look at how golden brown and crunchy these turned out. Honestly, you can't go wrong with this homemade chinchin. They're so good. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more. And until next time, stay safe and blessed always. Hi there and welcome. I hope you're doing great. My name is Abina Tina, and on the menu today, I am bringing you another Ghana street snack. It's the agbalika klo, which is essentially a deep fried cassava donut. It's super flavorful and delicious, so come along and let's get started. So to begin here, I have the star of the show, and this is what is called the cassava root, and this is what we will need to make our cassava donut or agbalikaklo. Okay, so now we'll peel the cassava, and please use your chopping board while doing this. I am no pro using the knife, but I find that using this technique, the peel of the cassava comes off very smoothly, but please do so using a cutting board. Okay, so once peeled, we will wash it thoroughly, and now it's time for grating. And also ensure you're using the small grating hose. You can also use your blender to blend to achieve that smooth texture we're looking for, just like this. Next, with a clean napkin or cloth, we're going to transfer our grated cassava onto it, and now we're going to squeeze to get as much moisture out. You do need some strength in your hands to be able to squeeze as hard to get as much moisture out, but if you have any other alternatives to get the moisture out, please do so. And if done right, this should be your outcome, somewhat dried up. You still need a little bit of moisture to be able to mold it into a ball, which I will show you how to as the video progresses. Next, to achieve that delicious flavor and aroma, we will need some onions. So here I will slice and chop my onions into really fine sizes. And if you also don't like to see onions in your food, you can also grate it, but I'll go with a mixture of both in this recipe. I will then add my chopped onions to the grated cassava, as well as some grated onions. The onions will give the agbalikaklo a very delicious flavor and aroma. The outcome was absolutely delicious. And I also went in with a little bit of salt to taste. And now with my hands thoroughly washed, I will go in and give it a good mix to ensure everything is well incorporated. And next, I will show you how to form the ball. It's pretty easy to do. I'm going to form it into a medium-sized ball, or whichever size you prefer. And also try not to squeeze them too firmly, because we're going to fry it and they need room to fry and cook properly. Okay, so this is essentially how you do it. So I'm going to repeat the process, and again, try not to squeeze them too firmly because they need room to fry. And if you squeeze them too firmly, they also become really hard. When it's done properly, it's soft inside and super crunchy on the outside. And to the heated oil, I'm going to place the dough balls carefully. I will fry them over medium heat until they're golden brown and crunchy. This should take about 7 minutes, but it may also depend on the size of your dough balls. And be sure to be patient with this and not have your heat too high because it may be cooked outside but raw in the inside. Just give it time so it can cook through and through so you can have a super delicious outcome. So the agbalikaklo is now golden brown and crunchy, as you can see. So I'm going to remove them from the oil and place them on a plate lined with paper towel to drain off any excess oil. And once drained, your coconut donut is ready to be enjoyed. Serve it warm and crunchy with some matured coconut. They pair so well together. And as always, thank you so much for cooking with me, and I hope you tried and let me know all about it. If you enjoyed watching, please give this video a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts on this recipe in the comments, and I hope to see you in the next video. Remember to stay safe and blessed always. Hi there, Aquaba, and welcome. Today I'm sharing how I make my homemade chicken spring rolls. This recipe is super easy to follow and the result absolutely delicious, crispy, flavorful, and perfect every time. So join me and let's get started. So here's everything you need for the filling: cabbage, shredded carrots, chicken, bell pepper, onion, garlic, and green chili. Simple and fresh. And to begin, we will sweat the onion, garlic, and green chilies for about 3 to 5 minutes here, or until it's fragrant. The green chilies are optional, but trust me, they make a difference. They are aromatic and they add a flavorful kick. This is what it should look like after about 5 minutes. Super fragrant at this point. So now it's time to add in the veggies. And friends, you can use any other vegetables of your choice. This combo of cabbage, shredded carrot, and bell pepper is my go-to. It's vibrant, flavorful, and works perfectly for spring rolls. So I'll let it cook down for about 3 minutes here, just enough to soften the veggies and bring out their natural colors. Now I'll add the shredded chicken and season it with a bit of salt and some chicken Maggi seasoning. I'll let everything then meld together for about 3 minutes here, then set it aside as we move on to the next steps. And feel free to use any seasoning of your choice to match your desired taste. This is your creation, so make it your own. Next, for the spring roll wrap, you will need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and about 2.5 cups of water. Gradually, I'll add the water to the flour while using my whisk to mix it all together, and we are aiming for a somewhat thick batter, not too runny or not too thick, just the right consistency for the spring roll wrappers. So a batter just like this is perfect, smooth and slightly thick, and I remember the first time I made spring rolls, I struggled to get the batter just right. It was either too runny or way too thick, and I ended up with a mess in the pan. I mean, I'm still learning, I'm not a pro at it, but after a few times I nailed it, and now it's like second nature. So don't worry, it takes a bit of adjusting and you'd get the hang of it. Now in my slightly greased pan, I will use a brush to spread the batter onto the pan just like this. And I'll be honest, I still struggle with this part sometimes, but the key is to try and get an even layer of batter. And we are aiming for a wrap that's not too thick or too thin, just a perfect balance to hold the filling nicely. And just to show you one more time, I'll brush the batter onto the pan again. Take your time with this step. It doesn't have to be perfect, just as even as possible for a nice flexible wrap. And if you're a new friend here and you love what you're seeing so far, do your girl a solid and smash on that subscribe button. Give this video a like. I'd truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And to my returning subscribers, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for the constant support. Next, I will show you how to wrap the spring rolls. It's super simple, so just lay the wrapper flat with the smooth side facing down like this. Add a scoop of the filling near the edge, fold in the sides to secure everything, and then use a bit of the same batter mix as a seal before rolling it tightly. So now let me walk you through it step by step here. And yes, my wraps do not look perfect, but trust me, they will get the job done. It's all about practice, and as long as they hold the filling securely, you should be good to go. Besides, once they are fried and golden crispy, no one will even notice if they're not perfectly wrapped. It's all about the taste. That's what matters. So once the spring rolls are all wrapped, it's time to fry them. So we'll heat up our oil in a deep pan or skillet over medium heat. And once your oil is hot, carefully place the spring rolls in, and we'll cook them for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side, or until they are golden brown and crispy. And make sure to flip them gently to avoid breaking. And when they're done, remove them from the oil and place them on a strainer to drain any excess oil. And avoid using paper towel because I've noticed they can trap the steam and make the spring rolls lose its crispiness. So a strainer helps keep them perfectly crunchy. And that's it, friends. Perfectly crispy chicken spring rolls ready to enjoy. But of course, let them cool down first. Thank you so much for cooking with me. I hope you enjoyed watching and found the video helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, stay safe and blessed always. Hi there, Aquaba, and welcome. I hope you're doing great. My name is Abinatina, and on the menu today, I will show you how I make my Ghana bofrot, also known as puff puff. It's an easy to follow recipe, so join me in my kitchen and let me show you how it is done. And as always, I truly hope you enjoy the video. Okay, let's get into it. So to begin, we're going to activate our yeast, and to do that, we will add 1 cup of warm milk into a large bowl along with 1 tablespoon of yeast. We will give this a quick mix, then allow the solution to rest for about 5 minutes. Once our 5 minutes is up, we will now add 4 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 1 tablespoon of salt, then give it a quick mix to ensure the sugar and salt are well dissolved in the milk. Okay guys, once we achieve that, we will go in with 3 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, or whichever flour you prefer, along with 2 medium eggs. Now we are going to mix until our dough comes together. And guys, I'll have listed all ingredients used in the description box. And once the dough starts to form, I will go in with my hands, as it would make it easier to mix my dough. Okay, so now I transferred my dough onto a working surface, as you see here, to start the kneading process. But before I do that, I will add 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter to prevent our dough from drying. Okay, so I'll knead it for about 10 to 15 minutes, and this helps to develop gluten. This process is crucial for achieving a soft and airy inside of the donuts. And you'd know when gluten has developed when the dough bounces back immediately, just like this. Next, to prevent our dough from sticking in the bowl, we will oil it with some butter. We will then let it rest in a warm place for about 1 hour, or until it doubles or triples in size. So you can cover your dough with some plastic wrap, or you could just use a cloth, just as I am. And after about an hour, our dough has doubled in size. As you can see, I will give it a quick knead for about 2 to 3 minutes. Next, I will cut the dough into smaller pieces. I believe I got about 13 or maybe 14 pieces out of this. And just as seen here, we'll fold our dough just like this. We're ensuring there are no open holes in our dough, as it can soak up oil when frying, and we definitely don't want that. Then we'll gently roll it on our working surface. We want a round looking dough ball, just like this. Okay, so once our dough balls are shaped, we will place them on a parchment paper. But first, we will sprinkle a little bit of flour to prevent sticking, and it will also help us drop the dough ball into the oil without losing its shape. But hold on, we're not quite done yet. We will let the dough rest in a warm place for another 1 hour, or until it doubles in size. Just like this, my dough balls have doubled in size, and guys, look at how beautiful the shape looks. Now it is time to fry our puff puff. Here I have my oil on medium-low heat, and it's ready to receive my dough balls. And you can check the readiness of the oil by placing a wooden stick into the oil, and when it sizzles, that's your green light. Okay, so carefully drop your dough balls into the oil and try not to overcrowd it. We will fry on each side for about 2 minutes, or until golden brown. So now golden brown, we will remove them from the oil and place them on a paper towel lined plate to drain off any excess oil. And guys, from personal preference, the bofrots are best enjoyed while they're still warm and soft, and you can enjoy it with your favorite beverage or porridge. And if you enjoyed watching this video, please give me a thumbs up, Comment what you think of this recipe, share it with your friends and family, and please subscribe if you're new to this channel. Any little support truly does help the channel grow. Thank you so much for cooking with me, and I hope to see you in the following video. Please stay safe and blessed always.